Hi, friends. Welcome to August. I am super excited about August. My birthday is actually in a couple of days from when I'm recording this. So I decided for August, I'm going to do two solo episodes, which is kind of unheard for me because solo episodes make me nervous and anxious. But with it being my birthday and with it being August, it's the kind of coming close to the end of the summer. We've got fall knocking on the door. This is the time that I like to go within. I do some reflection, and that gives me the opportunity to redefine what the next year of my life is going to look like. So, in honor of that, the next two episodes, we are going to be redefining. We're going to start with redefining self love. I've had some big aha moments that I've shared with some friends, and they've all thought it was really interesting. So I'm going to share that with you in this episode. And then the episode after this is going to be redefining self care. And I hope that you'll really enjoy those too. As we're talking about redefining self love and redefining self care, if you haven't checked out the My Happy Life box, I'd love for you to dig in. My intention with that box is really to support you through midlife, menopause, and beyond in redefining how you take care of yourself, what tools you use, and what it feels like. Each month, I have curated themes with amazing products that are really going to support you on the journey. I invite you to check that out at myhappylifebox.com. I'm Chris Greer, host of the Grounding Journey podcast and creator of the My Happy Life monthly subscription box. So the kind of conversations you're going to find here are all about life's journey. My guest and I will share how we've explored and expanded our life through lessons learned, mistakes, mindful actions, and most importantly, how we've celebrated the journey. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. Welcome, friends. So we are talking about self-love today and how to define that. We're also doing a solo episode, which, as I mentioned in the beginning, I don't do solo episodes often because it gives me a little bit of anxiety. I'm not always sure how to guide the conversation and if I'll say what I want to say and all that stuff. So I'm unscripted, just sharing my thoughts in my heart with you today in redefining how we see things. So a couple months ago, let me step back. I think it's important to redefine these things because if you're like me, you scroll on Instagram, you see all these great quotes, all these great memes that talk about self-care and self-love, and you're like, wow, that sounds really fantastic. I don't know what self-care is. I don't know if I love myself. And I think sometimes we also see people talking a higher level of what self-care or self-love is without helping us define it. And that's what I want to help you do is define what self-care is, define what self-love is so that you see you love yourself, so that you can take better care of yourself and celebrate it. So a couple months ago, Kevin gave me a call and he just had a simple question about how to take care of something in the house. He wanted to talk about gardening or something. I don't remember what it was, but I remember the experience because it had a profound impact on me. So I talk to Kevin, I give him my direction, I give him my experience, strength, and hope. We end the conversation and he's like, thanks, Mom. That was really helpful. I appreciate your time. I knew that you would be the one who could answer my question. So I hang up the phone with him and I notice, because I just kind of sit there and pause, thinking about what a great kid he is. And I've really been enjoying getting to know him as an adult and as a human on his own. And so that feeling morphs into this heart expansion love. Because I don't take credit for him very often. Because I think he came to this life as the human he is. He needed some guidance. As I say, I was his bumper guards, so he didn't end up in the gutters. So I'm not quick to take credit for who he is. But in that moment, in that conversation, it was all me. It was reflecting back to me what I had taught him. And so that feeling of pride of having a relationship with him and having that conversation with him morphed into this, hey, I did that. Hey, I get to take credit for that. And I started to notice how it felt in my body. And it was just this like major aha moment of, holy crap, I think that's what self love is supposed to feel like. I'm going to remember what this feels like. And the next time my body feels like that, I'm going to see what happened just before for me to realize what that feeling is. So, a week or two later, I don't remember what it was, something else happened, and I felt that sensation in my body again. And I took note of what that experience was and thought, yep, that's self love. Well, that was pretty simple. So I was talking to my soul sister on our weekly call, and I was telling her about it and saying, I think that's what self love is. I've never understood what self love was. And she thought it was fantastic. So we both made the kind of pact that we were going to start noticing how our bodies felt when something good happened so that we could realize what self love was and that we actually love ourselves because we're proud of who we are and what we've done. Even if it's just a fleeting moment, it's still that moment where you get to feel it. So, over the last couple months, I've really been taking note of when I feel that chest expansion. And it feels for me, it's like my heart is a sunshine. So, you know, when you're in the sun and the sun rays just heat your whole body, but it doesn't like just bam, it's all over your body. It kind of starts wherever the sun's hitting and then it just kind of spreads and warms your whole body. That's for me what that self love experience feels. It starts in the center of my chest and it just expands out in my limbs, my head, everywhere. So instead of thinking self love is pampering myself, it's treating myself, it's all these other things that seem like luxuries and often have guilt associated with them, at least for me, self love is a simple sensation in my body where I say, I like who I am as a human, not just who you are as a human. And to me, that's the first step in self love. It has been in my journey. I've done a lot of heart work, of heart chakra work over the last 4 years. I've shared a lot of that in the podcast and through my blog. I've done a lot of heart healing. I've learned that every time your heart cracks open, it makes room for expansion. And I've learned that every time my heart shines like a sun, that's self love. That's taking the time to notice that I like myself. And I think that's half the battle because when we realize we like ourselves, it's easier to turn off those conversations that we're beating ourselves up over. I saw a meme one time that said, the good news about midlife and old age is you've heard all the horrible things you have to say to yourself and you can ignore them. So when I now take the note, oh, there's some self love in my body. I love myself. When I feel that, I then talk really nice to myself. And that expands that self love feeling and it lasts longer. And it's more frequent because I've become conscious and aware of what that feeling is. So here's my challenge to you. What does it feel like for you in your body when you're proud of yourself? When you've done something that feels good and makes you happy, that's fully you get credit for. And maybe you need to start with the small things like, my kid is mirroring me. I really like who he is. Because I can tell you for years, I'm uncertain, no doubt, had moments where Kevin reflected something back at me, but I didn't notice. I just thought he's a cool human. So, where can you start to allow people to mirror something back to you? And instead of just thinking they're cool, how can you feel self love for yourself? Maybe it's you start with taking your dog for a walk. And when your dog is happy and smiles back at you, and you're happy that you gave your dog that moment, you can see that as self love. Maybe it's when you present something really great at work and somebody says, "Great job. We needed that. We couldn't have done it without you." You can take note of what that feeling feels like in your body and realize it's self love. Because when you connect with that feeling and take note of it, you're going to be aware of it the next time. And it's going to continue to grow and expand. And that, by seeing and feeling the self love, it's going to be easier to take care of yourself. It's going to be easier to give yourself self care. And the next episode that I'm going to release in 2 weeks, we're going to talk all about self care, what self care is, what self care is not. And so I wanted to cover self love first, because once you feel that connection to yourself, once you have that admiration for yourself, you want to take care of yourself. You want to take better care of your body, better care of your mind, and your soul. There's the other saying, you're never alone if you like who you're with. So I want you to redefine self love as liking being with myself, liking who I am. And if you're struggling with that, then maybe the best way to discover what you like about yourself is it's kind of like a gratitude journal, but it's a little different. So what I call it is, would you rock star today? Because Matthew struggles with self-love. And at the end of the day, as he's making dinner or we're sitting down for dinner, I will say to him, what did you rock star today? And some days it's, I got out of bed and I took the dog for a walk. Some days it's, I engineered this whole new thing for this and blah, 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 blah. Because he's a woodworker sometimes and it's blah, blah, blah. So asking yourself, what did I rock star today? What am I excited to rock star tomorrow? And those are the ways to start connecting with your own self-love and what you like about yourself. And it's okay if some days the only thing you rock starred was getting out of bed. Because there are going to be other days that you rock star this massive, important thing to you. And as you're asking yourself, what did I rock star today? Feel that self-love. So for me, it's 11:30 in the morning. And tonight, when I ask myself, what did I rock star today? It's going to be, I recorded 2 solo episodes unscripted and I liked what I had to say and I felt like I shared. So high five me. And after you rock star, once you figure out what you've rock starred for the day, high five yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Something to say, good job. I'm proud of you. Because that's how we connect with self-love. And if you really struggle with self-love, then start a rock star journal. Write it down. So on the days that you're struggling to come up with what you rock starred, you can look at what you rock starred yesterday. You can look at what you rock starred last week. Because I promise you, we are all worthy. We are all rock stars of our own lives. And when you see those small rock star moments, they're going to lead to bigger and more. And so if you don't feel like you're necessarily in alignment with your future self and who you want to be right now, focusing more on self-love and what you've rock starred is going to lead you there. It's going to be your pathway and your guide, because when you connect with that, you're going to find the motivation, the strength, and the admiration to pursue the connection to your future self. I hope that this has been inspiring for you. I hope that it has been an aha moment for you, and that as I talked, you immediately thought, I know what self love is. I just didn't know I knew it. And if you haven't, rock star it. You rock starred listening to this whole podcast today and being inspired by it. So tomorrow, you get to rock star something else. I would greatly, greatly appreciate if you would subscribe so that you get notice of all of my upcoming episodes. On Apple, YouTube, you can hit the little subscribe button and it'll notify you. If you found my blog, there's a opt-in at the bottom where you can join my mailing list. I also love for you to comment or leave a review depending on what platform you're at. I am so grateful, friend, that you are a part of my journey, and it is an absolute honor to be a part of yours.